Welcome to the 24th version of the Genus Weekly In Focus COVID-19 video for Friday, August the 28th, 2020. Who thought we would still be here almost 6 months from the start of this session? So my name is Mary Lou Miles, and I'm the Director of Wealth Management here at Genus. I work with a team of amazing portfolio managers that are passionate about working with their clients and determining their financial goals and creating investment portfolios that meet their needs. And once again, I'm here to interview Wayne Michel, our CEO and co-founder and Chief Investment Officer, and provide him with some questions that have come from us and also our clients. So Wayne, it's been quite a week for so much news, COVID-19, the markets, and the economy. I had so many questions today, but I'm going to try and narrow it down and let's get started. So the first question is, the Federal Reserve is meeting in Jackson Hole, Wyoming this week, and Jay Powell came out with an amazing pivoting statement saying that the Reserve, after 10 years or more, are okay with inflation rising above 2% and focusing more on the unemployment situation in the US. So that's a significant change. And maybe you can speak to what the effect that's going to have on the bond and the equity markets. And also, maybe two questions, does it signal that the recession is somewhat different than the last recession?
No, I think this is more about their long-term policy. It was an amazing speech. I found it an amazing speech. It was Jay Powell, unchained, woke, and ready to go. And basically, he said he went through the history of the Federal Reserve and said we did a great job fighting inflation. You know, Volcker killed it in 1980, and then we had 30, 40 years, my whole career of deflation, and we haven't really figured that out. We haven't done a good job, so we kind of screwed up. And our dogma, our tools we've been using to fight deflation are lousy, and we're going to throw them in the scrap heap. So it was an amazing speech. He's unchained. And basically, Bernanke was shooting for 2% inflation, never achieved it, missed it. And using things like the Phillips curve just didn't work. And so he also made a statement I found very interesting statement. He said, the low unemployment we had prior to COVID was very good for equality in the economy and for opportunity for the lower demographics. And to me, that says that he's going, pedal to the metal. He's not going to stop until he sees some serious inflation, and he wants to get the unemployment rate back down again. So to me, and right off the bat, the bond market backed up on that news. So basically, it's a longer term growth. We're here for growth longer term. We want to help with this issue in the economy, which we have right now in terms of the big inequality issues. And it's longer term. It's probably more inflationary, but they haven't done a good job generating inflation. So I guess until we get some inflation, maybe above 3%, they might start putting the brakes on at that point in time. So a very interesting speech, and he's throwing out the old tools, and he's unchained, and they're going for it in terms of trying to get the unemployment rate down longer term.
What is that going to do to the US dollar?
Well, I think US dollar is down a lot already. I think it's going to make it on, it's going to put it more on the weak side of it. But longer term, it's going to provide more growth, and so I think that's maybe the short term is going to provide some weakness, but longer term, I think it's going to provide growth longer term as they get their employment rate up.
Great, thank you. On the COVID front, the U.S. government has buying almost all of the Abbott Laboratories 15-minute COVID test. So this isn't a vaccine, but it's a test that's less invasive than the current one. And it's been approved by the FDA, fast tracked. And so what impact do you think that's going to be on consumer behavior and the market?
That's really exciting news. This is as big as the Powell speech as far as I'm concerned. It's a 15-minute COVID test that costs $5. You can get it at a drugstore like CVS Health in the US. And it's also tied to an app, so you can actually have that result on an app. So you can go to, if you're getting on a plane, you can show the app to show you have a test, you're safe to get on. So it might become sort of the entrance ticket to getting into theaters, into areas where there are crowds. I think it's a great idea. And also the good news too is that it's scalable. They plan to have 50 million of these up and running by October. So I think it's a game changer. I really do. I think it's exciting news. It's giving me some hope on the COVID side. And it's great news as far as I'm concerned.
I know right now it has to be administered by a medical professional, but they're anticipating that will change. And also even a school nurse. So I'm thinking more from the education.
Yeah, no, it's it'll affect any facility that has crowds in it. I think it's just great.
Yeah. So just yesterday, Walmart and Microsoft have declared their intention to purchase TikTok, the video sharing service currently based in China that, of course, Trump's been trying to shut down. Why do clients, or why do we care about this purchase?
Well, I think just that, number one, it's a big deal for if you happen to hold the stocks, and we hold some of the stocks that are impacted. Number one, Microsoft and Walmart. We think that are going to be the winners in this whole game. It's really an issue, the ongoing issue between the U.S. and China, and concerns about Chinese surveillance and the Chinese Communist Party picking up American data, American consumers. And I think from that perspective, Microsoft and Walmart have jointly thrown their hats into the ring to get this. I think they're going to get it just based on what's happened over the past couple of days. The CEO of TikTok resigned. He wants to run a full independent company. If Microsoft gets it, he won't have that kind of independence. So I think he's out because Walmart's into e-commerce. They want to use advertising on the platform. Also, it's another data grab for the Chinese practice state surveillance. They practice capitalist surveillance. They want to surveil data and get information from data. What are consumers doing? That kind of thing. So that's part and parcel of what they want. That's why I think Microsoft wants it. And they're getting into that whole e-commerce game with a lot of data, which becomes more important if you're selling things, especially with Walmart.
Right. So in 2013, Exxon was the world's largest company. And this week, the Dow Jones Industrial Average threw it out and added Salesforce. But that speaks to what you and your team have been saying over the last months on these videos about the rise of the tech sector, and now that tech stocks are 25% of the S&P 500. So do you think this trend is going to continue? Absolutely.
This is just, it's amazing how the mighty have fallen. Exxon was the biggest company back in 2013. It's just, and they've been taken out of the Dow. And if you look at the overall U.S. market, energy now is about 3% of the overall market. And so that's, it's looking at cash flows and discounted. So at the end of the day, the people that composed the Dow Jones Index had to make a decision. There's 3% of the overall index effectively. We have two energy companies, Exxon and Chevron. Which one do we keep in? They chose Chevron, and Exxon got the boot. Unfortunately, we don't own Salesforce, and we don't own Exxon though either. So.
Yeah, well, we knew that we wouldn't own Exxon in our fossil-free portfolio.
Yeah.
Thanks for confirming that we don't in the other ones on as well. So
much fun.
Thank you for watching. And please do reach out to your portfolio manager if you've got any questions. And for those of you that are not Genus clients that are listening, please feel free to contact us on from our website or from the bottom of this video. And as we head into September, we're really conscious too of the anxiety around back to school and university and colleges for our clients and our staff actually. So we really do, as Dr. Henry, our BC Provincial Health Officer says, want you to be kind, be calm, and be safe. And we'll see you all next week. Thank you.